up, guys? Got another new video here for you. This is Tuned In Sports, back with another video. My name is Bryson.
Bennett.
And today we've got the Week 3 college football review. Week 3 is under wraps, and for some of the teams here on this channel, thank God. And for others, it was an interesting week. I would say just in general, very interesting games across the board. And, you know, for some of the teams, it was for a good reason. For others, not so much. So, you know, let's start with one of the very, very, very good, one of the very, very good reasons why it was a good day, and one of the teams that had a great performance, which is the Michigan Wolverines. If you guys watched our preview, me and Dad both predicted that Michigan would come out strong and hold on to this game. I thought it was going to be closer than it was. But, yeah, Michigan, they came out with 5. I actually watched the whole first half of this game. And, you know, they came out with 5 straight touchdowns in a row.
Yeah.
You know, and so they just, I mean, their offense was pretty much unstoppable in the first half. Specifically the running game, they were running the ball all over Northern Illinois, which in some respects you kind of would expect that, but nonetheless, you know, shout out to them. They obviously came prepared for this game, especially being at home. You know, they put out a great performance. I'd say in the first couple of drives, I wasn't really too impressed with their defense, but, you know, obviously they only gave up 10 points, so, you know, they improved as the game went on. But I just kind of felt like, you know, like on the first drive, Northern Illinois really kind of got some things going there. And honestly, you know, I felt like, boy, Michigan's defense, I would hope that they would look a little bit better against Northern Illinois than they did. And so as a result of that, you know, I was like, I don't know about this, but they did. They held them the rest of the day pretty much. Great job to Michigan, 63-10. You know, that's the kind of performance you want to have against one of these teams that you're supposed to beat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, I mean, Michigan, I mean, like Bryson said, I mean, they struggled a little bit on defense in the first half, but
more the first drive.
Yeah, more the first drive. I mean, whatever, you know. But nonetheless, good showing for Michigan. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I really wasn't able to watch any football basically all day just because I had to work. But, yeah, I mean, judging by the score, I mean, this game was not close at all. And Michigan pretty much dominated it the whole time, which you would expect from high recruiting school. I mean, you go in, you should be smoking teams like NIU and some of these other ones. I mean, NIU are not gonna, don't get me wrong, they can play tough against some tough, like harder teams sometimes. They show up unexpectedly and give them a good battle, but you know, today was not that day for them, and Michigan took care of business. So good for Michigan.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and hop into the next game, I think, which we're going to go ahead and talk about. And unfortunately, you know, the reason that we're going to be talking about them is not exactly for the greatest reason. And the truth is that this game was absolutely pathetic. I watched some of it, and that was about all I could stand. You know, we're going to hop into the Colorado game against Minnesota. And to be honest with you, I mean, this was just absolutely putrid. I think Colorado in total managed 57 yards for the game. I think. That might be overdoing it. They may have got less than that. 57 yards of total offense for the game.
Seriously?
I believe it was 57. 68. Okay. So they in garbage time they got a few extra. But yeah, they didn't even manage 100 yards of offense In the first half, I think the quarterback had thrown for 0 yards. And, you know, the one quarterback that they had that started, Lewis, yeah, he's not it. I don't know what they need to do here. You know, obviously he's the freshman, so, you know, maybe he can play.
Send Milton over where he can actually win a game.
Maybe he can play, maybe he can't, but this wasn't it for him. And he's just not ready from what I watched. You know, I mean, honestly, the game wasn't even that far out of reach for a good portion of it, but Colorado's offense was just so bad that eventually Minnesota was going to score.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, Colorado's offense was horrible. I mean, seriously, like, we're talking about 82 yards passing, negative 14 yards rushing for Colorado today. So, I mean, they were putrid. I mean, you cannot be that bad. That's just pathetic, honestly. That is
especially
pathetic.
for Colorado. I mean, that's about on another level of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, like I should really be talking because I mean we've been.
I was gonna say we got a few more games to get to tonight, but nonetheless, though, I mean, literally negative 14 yards rushing for the afternoon against the Golden Gophers. I mean, that's the thing about it too. It's not like they were playing Alabama. They're playing the Minnesota Golden Gophers here, at home. Negative 14 yards rushing.
I'm surprised Don didn't want to be a part of this video.
Oh man, he would have thrown the camera. It's probably a good thing he wasn't. I mean, what is there to say? That's just absolutely putrid in my opinion. Pathetic. Just disgusting. We watched some of it, and then we were like, "Yep, well, let's find something else."
Just judging on that performance alone, I think the coach has got to have like a target on his back.
I mean, listen, and for that performance to be at home.
I mean, wow. How does it get any worse?
I don't think it does.
Literally, I was shocked when you just read the score because honestly, I didn't even know what the ending score to this game was.
Yeah.
I literally just found it out when we started talking about Colorado.
Yeah, so
that makes it even more funny because that was literally my live reaction to see
yeah, I mean, literally, this was Broncos 101. Defense was keeping them in it for a while. Offense literally could not move the ball. But this was even worse than the Broncos. I mean, literally, just absolutely putrid. To not even get over 100 yards of total offense in a game at the college level against Minnesota Golden Gophers at home. I mean, come on, that is just that's a joke in my opinion. That's an absolute joke.
I would be going for the coach's head after that one. I mean, that's just my honest opinion. But I mean, shoot, like you said, it doesn't get any worse than that. I mean, in Colorado, generally is known for being a high-scoring school. They generally can put up a lot of points in games. So for them to come out and have that kind of performance just makes you think, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah,
I think it's mainly the change in the QB that's been the main problem.
I was going to say, when that quarterback went out with an injury, it just derailed him, I think. And I just think this guy that they're trying to put in the spot to replace him is not ready. Maybe he will be at some point, but as of right now, he's not. So, yeah, that was an interesting game. Glad I got the pleasure of watching.
Yeah.
Glad I got the pleasure of watching some of that.
I didn't get to watch any of it, and I'm kind of glad I wasn't there because I'm sure Don was probably screaming at the screen and getting pissed off.
Well, no, I think he was just
so blown away by how bad they were playing.
Yeah, no, I mean, we turned it off real quick. I mean, it was good God, this is horrible. So, anyways, that's that piece of crap. Now let's move on to the next game. And speaking of pieces of crap, let's hop into this Nevada Wolfpack game. They had a game against Kansas State today, 38-17. Watched pretty much all of this game, and
I didn't get to watch it.
Typical Nevada game here. Truth of the matter is that we really were in this game for pretty much the entire 3 quarters, we were right there in it. I believe it was tied at halftime. Could be wrong, but it might have been 3 points difference or something like that. But it was really, really bad. It was really, really close. But then fourth quarter, it got really bad. I mean, it was just like we couldn't stop.
Was it just dead?
We could not stop the running game to save our life. I mean, literally. I don't know how many points rushing that they had in that one particular gentleman that's on Kansas State. Oh my God, Vaughn. Holy nuts! That guy. 127 yards rushing. That guy was just unbeatable today. I mean, he was just, every time he touched it, it was going for 8, 9, 10, 15, 25, you know. I mean, it was like, good God, can we just please tackle him? So no tackling, no defense, and, you know, this was a game that Nevada was actually favored to win, and to be honest with you, they were playing from behind all day long. I mean, even when they were in the game, they were behind. So It's not like they were ahead and then blew it. They were never really ahead in this game, and they had opportunities and blew them. And you know, play calling, coaching, the usual stuff with Nevada, just kind of led for a bad game.
Yeah, no, for sure. Honestly, I mean, Kansas State generally is a pretty solid school. I mean, I feel like they've had some competitive teams in the past, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me that Nevada struggled with them a little bit. Like, you know, like I said, they've had some pretty solid teams. But, yeah, tough loss.
Yeah.
It kind of brings me to the whole football video, like my basic reactions to the NFL videos, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was a tough loss. I mean, this would have been a huge win for Nevada, and going into the Boise State game next week.
Let's just say if they're gonna play like that, we're gonna get smoked by Boise. I mean, it's gonna be probably even worse than this if we play like that against Boise.
I don't know, but
it's tough
what
to
I
say,
do know is that
did Boise win tonight? I saw that they were in a close game with somebody pretty solid team.
It was I mean it was close, but I mean like I said it was I mean you know at the start of the third quarter it was tied at 17, and then Kansas State scored 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter. So. You know, I mean, it was a close game for 3 quarters, and it's very unfortunate.
Like, honestly, it just makes you wonder, like, how do you let that happen? Like,
it's just the wonderful halftime adjustments is really what it comes down to. I mean, just wonderful adjustments being made throughout the game. I mean, it was really, really bad. And, you know, that was a game that me and Steve had both said we thought was very, very important to win. And, you know, they couldn't do it. So going into the Boise game next week, you know, we'll see what team shows up. I'm not saying they're going to get clobbered, but at the same time, I don't know. I just feel like that's really unfortunate that they had to lose that game. And especially in the fashion that they did. It's really, really unfortunate. I mean, they didn't have a bad effort for a good 3 quarters or so, but the fourth quarter they just came out and fell flat on their face and couldn't stop anybody running the ball, and we just eventually turned it off because it was like it was over. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Speaking of things being over, I think I
think that's gonna do it for Florida State.
I was gonna say we're not even into the. I mean, this was a game in conference play, but for the most part, they're not even into the meat of their conference schedule, and we're already 0-3 here. So You know, with that
Might
being
as well
said,
just call it a season.
Yeah, with that being said, Bennett, thank you for, talking about the Seminoles. We're going to retire them for the season. Just talk about the more relevant teams. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly,
I'm just kidding, but honestly, it would probably help you sleep a little better at night if we did. But anyway, as far as this game goes, watched a little bit of it, and pretty much same old thing for the Seminoles. Pretty much same thing that we talked about with Colorado and other teams like that, where, for a good portion of the game, the offense was anemic. The defense kept them in it and kept it close, but the offense, every chance they got, just screwed it up pretty much. They had six turnovers on the day, 3 picks, 3 interceptions. Three picks.
Who was throwing it today?
Well, both quarterbacks played at points, so there was a little bit of both. But 3 picks and 3 fumbles is what I meant to say, not 3 picks and 3 interceptions. And some of those interceptions and fumbles came at in crucial areas. Yeah, I remember at least one of them was on Florida State side of the field. As a matter of fact, I think it was a pick 6. One of them was either a pick 6 or the fumble recovery was scored for a touchdown.
Yeah,
it's just 6 turnovers. You're not winning a game with 6 picks, especially when you only get 1. And overall, the offense was just horrible for Florida State, which is a common thing for them. And like I said, the defense for a decent portion of the game, they kept it relatively close. I mean, it was 27-14, which is not terrible. I mean, I'm not saying that they were super close, but that's still at least within reaching distance, and they just, eventually, if you're not going to score, then... and then no halftime adjustments. They didn't score a single point in the second half. So it's like, man, what...
No, honestly,
all I can say is
with
spinning wheel of crap.
Exactly. That's all the words you can say about it. After last week's performance against frickin' Jacksonville State, going in and losing, I think we were playing them at home and lost.
Yep.
That's about just ridiculous. And then coming in here and getting blown out by Wake Forest, who, really, we should be beating them.
Yeah.
That's another ridiculous thing. I didn't get to watch most of the game, but the part I did get to watch was at the end, and we were going down to score a touchdown and fumbled in the red zone.
Yeah.
So, just stupid. And I'm kind of in agreement with Steve, and because he's been trying to defend the coach and stuff, but I agree with him. I'm about done defending this guy, because it's 2 straight just ridiculous performances. Last year, we were struggling. This year, we're not even any better. If anything, we're worse. So, to me, what they need to do is fire this coach and get Deion Sanders in there.
Yeah.
That would be cool, Yeah. So, I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not, but really, I think that's what this organization needs. I think that's what this team needs, is somebody like a Deion Sanders or something that has a history with the school to come in there and run it, So, we'll see, but yeah, just utterly terrible. Nothing but terrible things to say about this team, as well as just, how, especially when you consider, this is Florida State, a storied history school, just coming out and looking worse than FCS schools out there. Did somebody like wake up on the wrong side of the bed or something? Did they not eat their Wheaties this morning? I don't know what's wrong, but goddamn, something needs to change. I mean, I was feeling good about Milton, but I mean, he didn't even look that great today. He threw 11 for 16, but threw 2 picks in the process. So I mean, it's. Now, am I saying those are all his fault? Not necessarily. I mean, could have been a situation where a wide receiver decided to tip it off his helmet or something, and guy intercepts it. I didn't get to watch the game, so I really don't know exactly what happened in it. But just, whatever it is, just something needs to change.
Well, let's just put it this way.
Regime, coaching staff, or whatever.
Let's just put it this way. When I was watching them, it was always the defense on field. So that just goes to show you all you needed to know. I saw maybe a handful of plays from the offense, and that was it. And honestly, that's about all there is to say. We could spend more time getting sick over this game, but honestly, I say we just move on. We've already devoted enough time to this team. And I think we spent more time talking about them than they deserve airtime on this show.
No, they don't deserve any airtime whatsoever, honestly.
It's just like it. It's ridiculous. In some respects, though, I feel like they, they take I think Colorado takes the cake for cream puff of the week. I don't know if Florida State tops that. I don't know if Florida State tops that crap performance, but what I will say is that, Florida State fans don't really have much to write home about right now. That doesn't include swearing and cuss words.
The sad thing, though, is, like I said, I was feeling damn good after our week 1 performance against Notre Dame. I thought we came out and put on a strong performance. And let's just say, you guys should be thankful that we didn't have a week 2 reaction. I'm sure they would have liked to see it because, I was about fired up after that game.
Yeah.
But, it really could not have been any worse. But yeah, just to give you guys a little bit of thought on that game because I didn't get to and we didn't do a reaction for it. That was about as bad as it gets for Florida State. I think that was possibly their worst loss in their history in the school. Losing to Jacksonville State, I don't know how you do that, man. Honestly, they're not in terms of athletes and stuff, they're not even on the same level. At least they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with all the freaking hype behind recruiting class was great, stuff like that I was hearing about all off season. To come out and be 0-3 already. Honestly, how does this happen? First of all, you lose to Notre Dame. I was feeling good about that. After that game, regardless of if we lost, just because we got back in the game, forced OT. And then, the rest is history. The last 2 games have been just utter shit on top of it. So, nothing to write home about. Just terrible.
Not really sure where you go from here. Honestly, I don't see.
Coaching regime needs to change. Honestly, they just need a new look. I think Travis needs to go. I just think they need a new, group of guys in there. I like the defensive line, though. I do like that Johnson kid that they got from Georgia. That guy's pretty impressive.
Uh-huh.
But
that's about where the buck stops.
That's about where it stops for me. And I like the running back that they got, Corbin. He had a pretty big game against Notre Dame, so that was pretty cool. But just all around, it's just shit everywhere you look. So let's just not spend any more time on it. And, let's move on to a game that actually somebody has to be proud about.
Yeah, one of the few.
I mean,
outside of Michigan, I'm the only one that has good things to say.
Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, though, I mean, since I've been kind of talking for like the last 2 minutes or so, I'll go ahead and give my opinion on this Alabama game to start. So, pretty good showing overall. I mean, I would say it was a pretty close game as well. I honestly, I mean, in the second half, I was kind of thinking Florida was going to end up winning the game. It was I was sensing like a shift in momentum a little bit because Florida kept on scoring. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, the problem is that Florida just ran out of time, in my opinion. I mean, not saying Alabama wasn't moving the ball because they were, but, you know, I was sensing if it was a little bit longer that Florida might have pulled it off.
Yeah.
But nice job by Alabama hanging in there and ended up winning the game. I did get to see a little bit of this one actually because we were watching it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I was sweating through it. What was going on with it?
It was a good game though. I mean, honestly, I mean, both teams looked pretty damn good. Florida definitely looked good.
Florida looked pretty legit. Yeah.
Let's just
not
say,
exactly the Florida team you wanted to see having a good performance today. But
no, but but you know what? I mean, I just get to look forward to getting creamed by them
at the end of the season.
I don't know if we play them this year, but I think we do. So, yeah, I get to look forward to that. I mean, that's gonna be fun. But nonetheless,
cream bomb at the end of the year.
but you know what? Good showing by Alabama, and yeah, I mean this was a big win for them. Florida's definitely a game team going into the swamp. You're going into the swamp and pull out a win, so yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I mean Alabama is one of the few teams I think could do it, like. And have no problem walking in there and coming out with a W, but still, nonetheless, great win, and definitely probably nice. They'll have some really nice momentum going into next week, I'm sure. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah,
I don't know who they're playing.
They're playing Southern Miss, so they're gonna need it.
Oh yeah.
But well, if it was Florida State, that's not a guarantee. But anyway, you know, honestly, you said a lot there, though, and you're spot on with a lot of the things that you were saying. You know, as far as Alabama goes, they came out like a house of fire. It was 21-3 in the first quarter, pretty much. And you know, you're looking at it and you're thinking, okay, well, it was nice. The hype was real, and you know, everybody. All the ESPN people and everything like that tried to sell you on the fact that this was going to be a tight game. But here we are at a usual Alabama game where the team that they play against has all this hype going in and they get creamed. But, you know, about as quickly as you started thinking that, all of a sudden Florida started turning it around, you know, making it an interesting game. They scored 6 and then missed the extra point at the end of the second half. And so you're looking at 21-9 and, you know, still relatively in control for Alabama. And then, you know, second half, you know, honestly, the offense was not that great for the most part. The running game really struggled most of the day. I feel like Florida's defensive line was outstanding. Really, really controlled the line of scrimmage, I felt like. I felt like a lot of times Bryce Young was really having to make plays with his feet and stuff like that. And even if it wasn't like running the ball, he was having to make plays and scramble around to throw it just to even have a chance at something, because otherwise he was getting sacked. You know what I mean? Like some of them, like you know what they say, you know. With Barry Sanders, like Dad always says back in the day, some of his most impressive plays were just to get back to the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? And it was kind of the same situation here. It was like, you know, just the fact that we didn't take a sack on this play was an incredible one hell of an effort by Bryce Young just to throw it away, you know. So, I really felt like that was kind of the case here with Florida. Florida's defense really came to play today. And like he said, the momentum started swinging in Florida's direction. The fans started getting back in the mix. A lot of miscommunications on offense by Alabama. A lot of penalties today. A lot of times where they were coming up to the line, the clock was rolling down, and it looked like people didn't know what they were doing. Looked like the noise was really affecting the communication on offense. And, as a result, Florida just started creeping their way back in. But, the truth of the matter is I'm really proud of Alabama because you could tell that it felt that way. Like the game was kind of slipping away from them. But every time that would happen, they'd respond they'd go down and make it, Florida had scored a couple times. Then they went down and had a 99-yard. They started on their 1-yard line off of a stupid play by the Florida player. He touches it in the end zone on a kickoff return. He touches it in the end zone and then lets it roll out, and it rolls out of the end zone and out of bounds at like the 1. So they start at their own 1-yard line on a drive, Florida.
Oh, wow.
And then they proceed to go 99 yards down the field to score a touchdown against our defense. And, the announcers were like, we could probably count on one hand the number of teams that have done that to a Nick Saban defense, but, here we are. And so that's why I say, it was starting to feel like, oh boy, here we go. This is starting to get out of hand. The momentum's clearly in Florida's favor. The crowd is fully into the game here. They're going nuts, and communication's not very good, and you got pretty much a rookie quarterback. I think he's a sophomore, but because
that was his first year starting.
Yeah, he's a first year starter, and so it's like, oh boy, here we go. But truthfully, like I said, every time that they kind of faced adversity, they responded. They responded with a touchdown, and then later on they responded with a field goal. And then there was also another time when they went all the way down the field and went for it on 4th down to try and take the lead. Not to take the lead, but to expand the lead to 2 scores instead of just kicking the field goal. And they didn't get it. They got stuffed on 4th down. So then Florida proceeded to go down the field again. So, I honestly thought that was kind of a questionable call. I felt like you take the points because the momentum was on Florida's side. I didn't feel like there was any reason for them to go for the touchdown there. I know they were just trying to put the icing on the cake, but in my opinion, I felt like the points were more important there. So I wasn't really a huge fan of that call. And then, that field goal ended up that field goal that they missed at the end of the second quarter or whatever came back to haunt them because at the end of the game, Florida goes down, scores a touchdown, but because they're down by 2 instead of 1, they had to go for 2 to tie it. And then they missed the 2-point conversion. Then they kicked the ball off to Alabama, and they got a couple of first downs, made them burn their timeouts, and then just ran out the clock on them. So, unfortunately for Florida, if they had made that extra point earlier in the game, maybe a different outcome. But unfortunately, they had to go for 2 there. Alabama's defense made a huge stop. And the offense did what they needed to do. They rose to the occasion.
Just watching that last play too. The freaking Florida quarterback, he goes and swerves in between 2 O-linemen where there was a defensive player. Like, what were you thinking, man? Like, he had plenty of room along the side to run.
Yeah.
Like, what is he thinking trying to squeeze his way through 2 O-linemen where there's a defender?
Yeah.
That's just he literally cost him a chance doing that.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know what he was thinking at the time. Maybe he thought he had enough space to get through, but I just watching it, I was like, what the hell are you thinking? I would not have taken that course.
Hindsight's 20/20. He's probably got his eyes downfield, trying to find who's open and what he's going to do with it, and just trying to create enough space where he can get the ball off. And then before he knew it, he took a wrong turn, and that happened. So, I mean, he was just trying to make a play, so I'm not overall too critical. I mean, on the whole, we had a very difficult time defending him for pretty much all day.
Oh, no, he's like a dual threat. He kind of reminds me of, I mean, Jordan Travis is nowhere on his level, probably, in terms of just how he can throw the ball, but nonetheless, I mean, he kind of reminds me of Jordan Travis in a way. I mean, he can make plays on the feet, but, I mean, he wasn't all that consistent in terms of throwing. I think he was like 18 for 28 or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, he could have been better, but at the same time, I mean, he did cause some problems for Alabama, especially running the football, and he made enough plays to keep him in the game. So,
right. No,
I give him credit, and
I think he's a first-year player, too.
I don't remember. But anyway, this was a very, very close game, and especially at the end, it feels good to come away with a win here. It was tooth and nail fight, and, by the end, it was one where, us Alabama fans were sitting on the edge of our seat like, holy crap, are we going to blow this game? But we held on. And did what we needed to do in Gainesville, and escaped there with a victory. So props to the coaching staff, props to the players for hanging tough and just playing to the best of their abilities. And a lot of guys had there was some guys that had some pretty big games today. And the defense, they did their best. Offense did their best. But on the whole, there was a lot of things that we need to work on moving forward. There was a lot of people saying, especially after the way that Clemson's been performing as of late this season, that it kind of seemed like Alabama was kind of going to run away with the championship already, given the fact that Ohio State's already lost and Clemson hasn't looked very good. And just a lot of the people that, you would maybe assume would be up there just haven't really...
I mean, who has Alabama played?
They haven't really looked very, very decent thus far. Very many teams that were supposed to be good this year. And, I mean, Notre Dame was in it last year. They had a nail-biter against Florida State. Then they also had a closer game than they were supposed to against their team last week. And then this week they almost lost to Purdue. So,
I mean, Notre Dame just has not looked good.
I know, but
season.
what I'm saying is there's a lot of teams that going into the season people thought might be really good that are having the same problem. And so as a result, a lot of people were kind of thinking, well, Alabama's just going to run away with this one. They're way better than everybody else. And today was kind of a reality check for them, like, hey, if you're not careful, you could lose. And also, same thing can be said for Texas A&M as well. I mean, the projections for Texas A&M this year were to be a really, really, really good football team, and they have not looked the part at all. As a matter of fact, they almost lost a handful of times this season. They squeaked one out week 1, and last week they almost lost to Colorado, the same team that couldn't even get 100 yards today. And then this week they had another, I think they had another close game. I might be mistaken though, but anyways, I'm just saying.
I wish we still had Jimbo though. I miss having him on Florida State.
Yeah, but anyway, all I'm saying is I think this was a wake-up call for Alabama, and if we want to be that team that's just going to run away with it and is head and heels above everybody else, we got some work to do. Especially defensively, we had a very, very difficult time stopping the running game all day today, and just a lot of critical mistakes on offense in terms of penalties and things like that really need to get cleaned up. Now, I'm not saying that when we go on and take on Southern Miss next week that we're going to struggle through that game. But what I am saying...
look at how much you struggled with Mercer,
Yeah. But, what I am saying is we got Ole Miss and then Texas A&M coming up. And so we really need to, take next week as an opportunity to kind of get things straightened out and fix things up a little bit.
Well,
Otherwise, we could very easily lose.
To me though, the one thing Alabama does really well though is win games that they're supposed to win.
Yeah.
So they don't ever. Most teams that they play that are unranked or something, those games are never close. I don't recall the last time that they were ever in a game with a team that was unranked. Honestly,
it's not very often that it happens.
But
yeah,
I don't see them losing to Ole Miss or Texas A&M, honestly, but.
Yeah.
You still gotta show up.
No, I'm not saying that I think they're gonna lose after today's performance, but I'm just saying that I think we got some work to do, because otherwise I think we could easily find ourselves in a very close game with them and could lose. Because like I said, I saw a lot of things both offensively and defensively that I didn't like today. I thought our linebackers really did not do a very good job, and I thought tackling was at some points
atrocious.
Yeah, at some points I felt like I was watching Nevada's defense out there, and I'm like, good Lord, this is Alabama. What's going on here? I was not impressed with the linebackers on the whole today. The coverage guys were okay. Safeties could have been better. Just overall, I felt like there was a lot of areas that struggled, and the running game was not good all day. So, I don't know. We got a lot of work to do, but
I think that can be said for almost everybody outside of outside of Florida State. They looked pretty solid today.
Yeah, outside of maybe Colorado's offense, I think all of our offenses could use some tuning up.
And then guess what? Speaking of Florida State, I completely forgot to mention that we're playing Louisville next week. That's gonna be a blowout if we show up and play like we have the last 2 weeks. We're gonna get smoked by them. We got toasted by them last year.
Yeah.
So, just nothing good. It's. At least Alabama's doing well, and Colorado. That to me that was out of the ordinary performance.
Yeah.
They rarely ever play like that. So I think it could have been a case where they were just still worn out from that Texas A&M game from the week prior. I very easily could have seen that.
Yeah.
Being an issue, but it's nonetheless, most of our teams did not look good today.
Yeah.
We looked like shit. Colorado looked like shit. Nevada looked like shit. Alabama looked like Alabama was good, but they didn't look as good as I thought they were going to today, but Michigan did what they were supposed to do. So, as a result, it just results in a pretty underwhelming week of football for college.
Yeah. So can't wait to have that transfer into tomorrow's games and sit here and say, oh man, the Eagles played like crap against the 49ers. The Bengals found a way to lose to the Bears when they were supposed to win. The Lions are getting
we're
clean.
not favored against the Bears, but
I think the
Bengals.
No, I know, but what I mean is all of us pretty much picked the Bengals to win the game.
Oh yeah,
I know. So we're all thinking the Bengals will win. They'll lose. The Eagles will get completely toasted by the Niners. The Lions will get creamed by the Packers, and then the Broncos will find a way to lose against the Jaguars, and we'll all be sitting here like, how the hell did this happen?
You know what's kind of funny though is on my card this week I picked like 4 out of the 5 teams. I got the Eagles, Broncos. I got the
No, you don't have the Eagles. You had the Bills.
No, but Yeah, I had the Bills.
But you had the
Which
Broncos, the Lions, the Broncos, the Lions, and the Bengals. He has on his
Broncos, Lions, Bengals, and I thought I had one more.
You did, but it wasn't one of our teams.
Broncos, Lions, Bengals.
You had the Bills, and then you had one other one that was unrelated. But anyway,
yeah.
so
Cardinals.
Yeah. So, anyways, though, thank you guys for watching this video. Another week of college come and gone, and we're excited for next week.
I can't wait to get toasted.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get the full crew in here next week to really enjoy ourselves. And, we're all got to be super, super excited about it after this week's set of games.
Oh, yeah. Especially Colorado fans.
Yeah, exactly. And especially Colorado because they're looking at Arizona State next week. So if their offense can perform in a similar fashion than today, that should be another shellacking. So, anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, drop a comment, subscribe, hit the like button, all that fun stuff. My name's Bryson.
I'm Bennett.
See you guys in the next video.